Hi, Schlockmeister fans. We're going to watch another Graydon Clark film. We watched Joysticks a couple weeks ago. Now we're watching Without Warning. Let's check it out.
Day ahead of us.
Our movie starts with a couple of hunters.
I've been up for an hour already.
That's Cameron Mitchell. And from Malibu Express, his son, Darby Hinton.
He's been up for an hour already. Hubba hubba.
This happens to Cameron. Some sort of flying fleshy disc with hair. That can't be good. He makes it to his son and collapses in the creek there. And the same thing comes after Randy. This girl is Sandy. She's gone into the boys' bathroom because someone's in the woman's right now. And she meets Sarge. Martin Landau.
What the hell are you doing in here? This is a lavatory.
Oh, my girlfriend, she needed...
They meet Joe. It's Jack Palance.
We were looking for you. We were going to pay for the gas we took outside.
That red-haired guy is David Caruso.
We took $10. Here's 20.
Got some Cub Scouts. That is Larry Storch leading them.
Check rations and ammo. We're going to camp here for a while. Now.
Storch runs off to try to light a cigarette away from the Cub Scouts. And he gets attacked by one of those fleshy discs. Now, I don't know what these Cub Scouts are seeing exactly, but they've had enough. Anyway, back to our young adults here. We have Tom and Beth. That's Sandy. And that's Greg on the right.
Well, ready?
They're all going to go swimming. Tom and Beth are an established couple, whereas the other two just met. So they're going to make out a little bit on that Empire Strikes Back blanket. Greg and Sandy come back, and Tom and Beth are
I
gone.
wonder where they are.
Well, if I know Tom, they're in the back of the van.
Well, they wander off, they find a shed, and inside that shed are a few bodies. Including the two people we saw at the beginning, the Cub Scout thing, and then there's Beth. Anyway, Greg and Sandy hightail it out of there, and then they meet the fleshy discs too. They drive off with that thing clinging to their windshield. How do you get them off?
Try the windshield wipers.
Problem solved. Neville Brand sitting there in the middle.
I need some help. My friend's dead.
Outside, Sandy waits in the van and watch the shadow. Sarge has seen these scenes before.
Critters? Flying critters?
Yeah, they attacked our van.
Everybody thinks he's crazy, though.
Nice little things, ain't they?
Anyways, they all hold themselves up in the bar. Sarge, an ex-Vietnam vet who, like I said, is a little crazy. He's a little trigger-happy, too, and he accidentally shoots the sheriff. There's Jack Palance again. Outside, Jack Palance finds one of those little fleshy discs and scrapes and cuts it off the wall. Takes it back home and puts it in a specimen jar. He's a hunter, and I think he's got a new trophy that he's very proud of. Anyway, Greg and Sandy lead Jack out to
There's a hole out there somewhere Sandy fell in.
the shed.
Sarge's been digging them all over the woods trying to catch this thing.
Inside that shed, he sees everything that they saw. To him, it's like a trophy case for this alien. Aliens come here to go hunting. Jack doesn't get out of there unscathed. He tells Greg and Sandy to run, take off, but Jack doesn't die. In fact, he cuts this one off of his leg. Well, he's got another specimen, I guess. Greg and Sandy are able to flag down a police officer.
Are we going to town?
But that's no cop. It's Sarge. Paranoid as ever.
What about Taylor?
Sarge accuses them of being aliens.
What'd you do? Kill the kids and take over their bodies?
What? He thinks so are the aliens.
So Greg goes along with the story, gives him a line of bullshit just so he can distract him and get out of there. Anyway, they find this cabin or house, something in the woods, and they duck in there. And it looks like there's might be somebody else lurking about in there as well. Sandy got some sleep when she went to check on Greg later on. She finds him like that, and then when she turns around, she sees an alien, who then chases her, but Jack Palance shows up to rescue her. Jack has set up some dynamite next to that shed. They're planning to lure the alien here, and they'll blow him up. Fortunately, Sarge finds them first.
I hate to think what you aliens did to the real Joe Taylor.
What?
And he's still on that line.
Man, you know this guy. We're human, just like you.
They get into a fight, and then the actual alien shows up. Who promptly throws a couple of discs at him. After Sarge dies, Jack does get a shot on him. He's also going to get a disc tossed at him. Jack charged at the alien, got by the shed. Unfortunately, there was a disconnect to one of the wires there, so the dynamite didn't go off.
Sandy!
Eventually, she's able to fix it. Both the shed, Jack, and our alien go up. Alright, let's talk about the movie Without Warning. I think this is the third time I've seen this movie. I actually taped this movie off of cable around 1992 or 1993. I was kind of fascinated at the time. It was a science fiction movie, and I don't believe it had ever been put out on home video and not VHS. VHS, what we had at the time, VHS beta, never been put out. So I was kind of interested. Hey, I'm going to tape this, and I'm a fan of Graydon Clark. He directed Joysticks, one of my all-time favorite films, as well as Wacko, another great one. So Without Warning, right on track there. So what we have here, pretty good cast: Jack Palance, Martin Landau. Neville Brand is in this thing as well, and a young David Caruso of all people. It takes place out in the wilderness somewhere, I guess, a small town area, and it turns out there's an alien running around. One alien, I guess he's come from outer space, and he's just killing people. What his intentions are, I don't know, but he has these discs that he pulls out and throws them like frisbees, and they're like these fleshy, living things. They hit you, and then they kind of fuse to your body, and then all these little like jaggedy spike-like teeth type things start eating into you, and then they end up killing you is what they do. The alien then takes these bodies and puts them in a shed that he has out in the woods somewhere. He's got a whole trophy case out there, 8 to 9 dead bodies at this point. And then we have these two couples, Tom and Beth, as well as Greg and Sandy. Tom and Beth become victims. That's David Caruso. Greg and Sandy are kind of the stars of the film. And around this town, they come across Martin Landau, who's a ex-Vietnam War veteran. He's a little crazy in the head. And Jack Palance, who's a hunter himself, but he's a little crazy too, but he's at least sane crazy. And he's aware, actually I should say Martin Landau is aware of these creatures because he's actually run into them before. Nobody believes him because he thinks he's crazy, but he is telling the truth. And eventually, Martin Landau goes crazy and he thinks that the aliens have taken over the bodies of some of the people there, which they haven't. And there's a confrontation out in the woods, and suddenly the alien shows up. At the end of the movie, the aliens do get Greg, but Sandy is left, so she's running through the woods. Jack Palance saves her, and then they run into Martin Landau at the end, and then they're near the shed. They plan to blow it up. They have some dynamite there. And then Martin Landau shows up, and then he kind of stops them because he thinks they're aliens too. And then the alien actually does show up and kills Martin Landau. So Jack Palance then gets a couple of these fleshy discs thrown at him, and he runs at the alien, charges at him, and tells Sandy to blow up the shed once he gets near. And eventually Sandy's able to do that, blows up, and that's the end of our movie. There you go. Without Warning. Not a bad film at all. I kind of enjoyed it. No nudity, and I don't even know if there was any swearing in this movie. Was this PG? If not, it probably could have been or should have been. It says rated R. Don't know why. There wasn't all that gore, but there was some gore scenes in there. Neville Brand is also in this movie as well. I don't know if I mentioned that, but you can get this. It came out. Shout Factory put this out. Scream. I think about a couple of years ago actually. But I actually got this from Graydon Clark himself. He's a Facebook friend of mine. I bought some stuff from him years ago. And he was advertising recently you could buy his book on the cheap, which is kind of pretty cool. And if you do that, he was offering some of his discs at a really low price. This one was $9.99, as well as Wacko, which is brand new re-release, also $9.99. Hell of a bargain there. So I snatched those two up along with the book. And if you look closely there, he has autographed Without Warning. He also autographed Wacko for me. So anyway, it's a cool movie. I suggest go on his Facebook page or go on his website and get the book and get the DVDs cheaper. It's a great bargain. So check it out. It's called Without Warning. Leave some comments down below. Let me know what you think about it. It's called Without Warning. Watch it. Bye.